look at the book of Exodus. Exodus chapter 15, verse 19 through 21. Over here, Exodus chapter 15, verse 19 through 21. In your hearing it reads, "For the horses of Pharaoh went in with chariots and with his horsemen and into the sea, and the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dance. And Miriam answered them, singing, Yea to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea." I choose for a topic this morning: can you worship in your wilderness? Is it a possibility that as you go through, as you struggle, as you push through whatever situation has you, can you still offer up worship? Can you worship in your wilderness? Is there a possibility that in that dry place, in that desert land, that you're able to find something inside of you that will offer up to God your sense of praise and your sense of worship? I know it doesn't sound like it's easy to do, but it should be for a believer. It's not always easy to push past your pain and to give God your best worship, but it should be for a believer. It's not easy to set aside what burdens your heart and go before God and worship. I think the text can help us just a little bit. If you ever spent time reading your Bible, you know the story of Moses, don't you? How they were in captivity, and while they were in captivity, Moses made his way out, found himself on the backside of a mountain, worshiping and praising God, and God gives him the assignment to go back and to help others get out. When he goes back, he goes before Pharaoh and tells Pharaoh, God said to let my people go so they can go out and worship. Pharaoh said they ain't letting them go. He held on, and finally, after the plagues hit him, he said, you know what, take your people and go. Yes. And they got out in the wilderness. They got to the Red Sea, and here comes Pharaoh behind them, taking the opportunity to seize them before they could cross the Red Sea. And at the Red Sea, Moses stretched out his rod, the sea opens, and they go across on dry land. And here, the horsemen and Pharaoh go behind them, and they're covered over with water. Story ends there, right? Wrong. The story ends there. You see, because they found themselves on the other side of the Red Sea, but they still had Egypt inside of them. All right. They were still struggling with the problems and the consequences and the hurts of Egypt. All right. How can you struggle, or how can you get past the struggle in the wilderness? How can you find praise in the midst of the wilderness? I thought when I first read the text that they were praising God simply because they had escaped their Egypt. And that's a good reason to. But I don't believe that was the final reason why they began to worship God. While they were in Egypt, they had to deal with the harshness of Egypt. Now that they're on the other side of the Red Sea, they got to deal with the harshness of the wilderness. They went from hardship to hardship. But in the middle, in the midst of their hardship, in the wilderness, in the hard place, they found an opportunity and took the time to worship God. So can you do that? Can you worship God in the midst of your wilderness? Can you worship God where you are in your hard place? Can you worship God even when it seems to be impossible to drum up any worship? I don't know if it's possible for you. It seemed to be impossible for me. But then I realized something as I read the text. If you start to read the text at the top, Exodus chapter 15 and start at verse 1, you will find out that Moses broke off in song. Moses just started to remind the people just how good their God was, what he did for them, and how he brought them out of captivity, how he got them from point A to point B. And that's where they find themselves here in the text. They find themselves on the opposite side of the Red Sea. Their Pharaoh is behind them. See, we find it difficult to muster up a praise for God because our focus be on the wrong thing. Our focus still be on our Pharaoh who's done away with by our God. If your focus isn't right, if your sight isn't good enough to see God in the midst of it, you'll find a hard time to drum up a praise inside. Look at the focus of the people. In the midst of their wilderness, they were reminded about the goodness of their God. Do you get like that, folks? Do you find yourself in the midst of your wilderness thinking about the goodness of your God? Or is your focus off kilter and all you can see is your Pharaoh back in Egypt? All you can see is the pain that they caused, the hurt that they put upon you, the struggles that are going on in your household, how you can't make it, the money that you're short on, the bills that are not being able to get paid. All you're able to see is your Pharaoh. As long as your focus is on your Pharaoh, you will find yourself struggling to worship in your wilderness. I couldn't understand it. How are they away from their problem, but still struggling in the wilderness to worship? How do we do it? In order to understand the text fully, you got to go back to Exodus chapter 4 through chapter 10. And you'll find out that Moses kept going before Pharaoh and saying, just let us go and worship. Just let us go and worship. Allow us to go 3 days journey. And it dawned on me, 3 days. Why 3 days? What's so important about 3 days? Did you know that in 3 days, the average individual, according to Google, can walk about 20 miles? In 3 days, taking breaks and stopping for lunch, you can average about 20 miles. That's the average person. A person that's in shape, struggling, trying to get somewhere, can average almost 30 miles a day. So how is it that they only wanted to go, or God said to go just 3 days into the wilderness? If you let them go just 3 days journey, then they'll be able to worship me. So let them go 3 days. Why 3 days? You got to put some distance between you and your Pharaoh. You got to make a separation between you and what's hurting you. And sometimes the distance got to be 3 days long. Now, don't be fooled. I ain't telling nobody to get up and walk out their house. I ain't got nowhere for you to go to, and you can't stay at mine. But what I am telling you is sometimes you got to put a distance between that and what is causing you problems. You may not be able to change your physical location, but you can always change your focus. You don't have to be pinned down, pinned over, stuck on the conditions of your Pharaoh and the worship of your Pharaoh and desires and will of your Pharaoh, that your Pharaoh becomes your focus. All you have to do is change your focus. Change your vision. Change your view. Look at where you are right now. You see, when you was in your Egypt, you struggled and was getting beat forward. But now you're on the other side of the Red Sea. All right. You are not in the same place that you was when you started. God has brought you somewhere, brought you from something, brought you through something, out of something, at least to a place of rest, even if it is your wilderness. You may not be comfortable yet because you're so busy focusing on the pain. What if your focus got shifted from the one that caused promised. You want to find out how to praise and how to worship in the midst of your wilderness. Change your focus.
Right.
Don't allow Pharaoh in your life and in Egypt in your life to keep you in the wilderness worrying about Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Change your focus. If you change your focus, you will find reason to worship.
Yes.
You see, Miriam took her cue from Moses. Hear from us, take a cue from leadership. Miriam took her cues from Moses. Don't you know that worship should become spontaneous? And worship should also become infectious.
Yeah.
Your worship should spill off onto somebody else. When Moses started singing and started telling the people how wonderful, how good, how great, how awesome their God was, Miriam took cue from Moses and grabbed a tambourine and went out and started playing and started getting excited about God. And so much so that the women that was with her went out also. Your worship in the midst of your wilderness should become infectious. And I know what you're saying. How is it that they could shout in the wilderness? But don't you know, even in your wilderness, if your focus ain't on God, you are still shouting? Oh, no, I don't understand. Even in your wilderness, when your focus isn't on your God, you are still shouting. You are telling everybody how bad it is, how rough it is, how difficult it is, how hard it is, how impossible it is, how you just can't make it. So if you're going to shout, you might as well shout about something that's going to make a difference in your life. Why don't you still focus on your Pharaoh, giving power to the enemy, allowing the enemy to dictate and control you, because you're in the wilderness. The wilderness is not a hindrance place. It's just a pause button on life. Okay. They went from trouble to wilderness to trouble. Isn't that how we travel sometimes? You get out of one hard situation and you get a praise break and all of a sudden you find yourself in another one. What happens to some of us, most of us, if not all of us, when we get in the wilderness, we start looking back saying, I wonder how come I didn't stay. Why didn't I just put up with it a little bit longer? Why didn't I just endure the hurt? It was only going to be temporary. He said he was going to change. She said that she was going to pay me back. It was only going to be a temporary hurt.
Jesus.
When your focus is stuck on your family, you lose focus on God and find yourself in the wilderness stranded. But look what happens. Look what happens when you start to remember how good your God is. How God brought you to the Red Sea. How God allowed the Red Sea to part. How God allowed you to get to the other side and destroy your enemies in the midst of the process. You should be getting excited about worship. And your worship, like I said earlier, should become infectious that others will get excited also. And they'll begin to glorify God with you. Don't allow your wilderness to become a hindrance to your worship. Don't allow the wilderness to handicap you from getting to the next level that God wants to take you to. The wilderness is nothing more than a training ground. It's only a pit stop in life. It's not your final destination. See, some of us make the wilderness our final destination, our staying place, our resting home. Our wilderness can become like a mobile camp home. We take it from place to place with us and keep repeating to others how bad our wilderness is. Never seen that God has allowed us transportation to get there. If you're carrying your wilderness If you're carrying your wilderness with you, how do you expect God to change you if you don't change what you look at? If you don't change your focus. That alone should be enough for a praise break. That alone should be enough for a shout. Don't you know that you don't have to live in hardship? You don't have to live in hurt all your life. Even in the midst of your wilderness, God gave you sense and time enough to get a praise break one day. Now, I said that your praise should become infectious. Other people should see you and join in your praise.
Yes.
See, we have this thing in us, this humanness that causes us to just want to hold back on our worship and hold back on our praise. I don't want them to see me get undignified. I don't want them to see me break a sweat. I don't want them to see my tie get loose or my pants lose a cuff. I'm just going to reserve my praise. I'm just going to live out my reserved worship.
Jesus.
So much so that others miss an opportunity to see how God moves in your life.
Amen.
And they go around struggling and believing that they can't make it either, simply because you refuse to worship in the midst of your wilderness. They've heard your problems. They've gone over your situation in their own mind, so much so that they can retell the story better than you. But maybe if you want to help them, you got to let them know how good your God is in the midst of your wilderness. Why do I call this in-between place the wilderness? Glad you asked. They were between blessings. Remember I said earlier that their focus was on their Pharaoh and not on the God that provides the blessings or give them a blessing or give them a miracle. Or he gives them promise. He shows them or tells them what it is I'm willing to do for you. He told Moses back in Egypt to go 3 days journey into the wilderness. There you can worship. He said, put distance between you and your Pharaoh. Come out to where I am. Come meet me in worship. How was Miriam, how was Aaron, how were the people able to get to a place where they could worship? Not only by separating themselves from their Pharaoh, not only by seeing what it is that their God has already done, but by being in the right place.
That's right.
Yes.
Sometimes, if not all times, we can't get our worship on because we're in the wrong place. Our mood is wrong. Our thinking is wrong. Our desires are wrong. Our insight is wrong. The people we're hanging out with is wrong. We just in the wrong place. We tried it. We thought about it. We keep telling our story to the wrong people, and they keep feeding us back the wrong answer. We're just in the wrong place. We're not in a place where we can hear from God because our mind is so clouded by what we heard from ourselves.
Jesus.
We made our thoughts to be consistent with our belief about our God. I know that he's a miracle maker, but he just ain't do it for me yet. I know that it's possible. I know that he can do it, but he just ain't did it yet. I know that it's able to be done. I've seen him do it in the lives of others, but he just ain't doing it for me yet. Maybe we should change our yet into a worship right now. God, I know that you haven't done it yet, but you're still God and you're able to. God, I know that the impossible only a human word, but with you all things are possible. Why do you think the psalmist was able to say, yo, that he slayed me? Yes. Even though I'm not there yet, I will still worship God. You see, it's in the wilderness that you learn to train yourself. I was watching the Pacquiao fight. Don't judge us. I was watching the fight, and I watched the pre-fight interview. See, the young man that Pacquiao was fighting was talking about his diet, how hard he trained, how well he was working, how much he was going to do, how he was going to finish it off, how it was the end of one era and the start of a new era. I was really watching the fight. When they interviewed Pacquiao, he was doing his training, and in the midst of his training, they showed him take a praise break. He went to church and started worshiping. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. It made me say, oh my God, he is a world champion. But he's not afraid to publicly admit that he loves Jesus. But here I am, in the midst of my humanness, scared to lift my hands and give God a shout. Scared to let others know that I love God. I got the bumper sticker. I carry my Bible, and sometimes it's on the back seat, and sometimes it's on the front. I invite people to come to church, but I never go pick them up. I try. I'm doing the best that I can. But sometimes, to get past where you are, you got to show God publicly. That's what Miriam did. She grabbed a tambourine. And she went to shouting in response to what Moses had said. Moses said, yes, the Lord is good. Yes, God did make a way. Yes, God can do the impossible. And Miriam joined in and said, yes, he can. For he is Lord. When you start recognizing God in the midst of your situation, a praise shall bubble up even in the middle of the wilderness. Why is the wilderness the training ground? It's easy to say thank you, God, and glorify God when you're on the other side. It's easy when you got enough in the bank. It's easy when you got enough on the table. It's easy when the job is good and everything is going. It's easy to say thank you, Lord. But in the wilderness is where you start to build up those spiritual muscles that can remind you of how good your God is. When the song came to the ears of Miriam, I believe, my own thought now, I believe that what she heard was how wonderful, how awesome, how excellent, how mighty, how powerful, how gracious, how loving, how kind her God was. And her response to hearing that was, yes, he is. You see, yes, he is in the midst of the wilderness. He's worth 10,000. Yes, he is when you got it all. Yes, he is in the midst of chaos in your home. It's worth more than a yes, he is when all things are going well. A yes, he is with an empty bank account is worth a whole lot more than yes, he is when a bank is full. You got to be able to push yourself in the wilderness to get past yourself to say, yes, God is. Can you? Can you praise God in the midst of the wilderness?
Come on.
I think Miriam helped us. I think she gave us some good information, but it's still a choice.
That's right.
It's still a choice.
Right now.
You got to be willing to push past yourself and say that God is. He's able. He can do it. He can do all things. You got to believe that for yourself. I don't know how many people come to me on a weekly basis and ask me, how do you do it? How do you make ends meet? I know that you're going through something. How do you do it? How do you make it? They done cut your hours back, but how do you do it? You working twice as hard and bringing home less. How do you do it? How do you do it? How is it possible? It's easy. All you got to do is stay in the wilderness long enough. And anything that comes to you in the wilderness is just as good as what you get on the other side. I believe that's better. See, because it's in the midst of the wilderness that you can learn to give to others.
Yes.
When you don't have nothing and you get something, it's easy to break somebody else off something. You don't believe me? Look at how, I don't want to call on nobody specific, but look at how y'all get when y'all get income tax. You gotta manage, micromanage, and micromanage what you have. Because you don't want it to run out before the next income tax comes. You plan your vacation around it. You plan your summer plans around it. You plan your trips around it. You plan your holiday plans around it. You make sure that also.
Jesus.
You don't think about it until it's all gone. And in the midst of your wilderness, you start saying, oh Lord, if I had. Oh Lord, if I was able. Oh Lord, if you were just. Don't you know that God wants to hear that praise come up out of you even before you get to the wilderness?
That's right.
So when you're in your wilderness, anything that comes to like, here, have some. I ain't got much, but you're welcome to what I have. You know what? I want you to be able to celebrate God with me. So get your tambourine. I want you to be able to rejoice with me. So get your hands to clapping. I don't know if it's possible to pull, push, or prod somebody into praise. That's not my job. But what my job is, not just as minister, not just as reverend, not just as evangelist, but as family, as brother, and as friend, to remind you and to tell you that you have a God that's capable of doing anything and everything. There is no place that you are that God is not. There is nothing that you can do or say that can diminish God in my life.
That's right.
I don't know how you feel about it, but God will always be God in my house.
Amen.
So I just want to invite you to come and worship my God with me, even if you don't feel it. I dare you right now to get in your mind something that God has done. How small doesn't matter, how big doesn't matter. I dare you to think about something God has done. And tell me that's not a reason to worship Him. Tell me that's not a reason to give Him your praise. Yeah, you in a hard place. Yeah, you struggling with something right now. But the struggle is not an end. It's just a pause button on praise. And a lot of you are here that are in the square. Just lift up and glorify your God. Hallelujah. Holy Ghost, wilderness, praise. For you have a mighty God. For you have a loving God. For you have a God that gives strength. You have a God that overcomes evil. You have a God that deals with your sickness. You have a God that can outstretch your back. I dare you in the midst of your wilderness to go to worship Him. Because when you do, when you start to worship God in the midst of your wilderness, what will happen is you'll find peace, you'll find rest, and you'll draw strength. So that when you get to that place where there is no water, you'll still be able to say, God is. I know that it wasn't easy to hear somebody put you or put your life or put your problem on blast. But if somebody don't do it, if somebody don't tell you that you have